I'll ask you three questions. First of all, from what you're saying, Liam, it would seem to follow that Labour could have won this election had they adopted a much better policy on Brexit and continued to take the position they took in the original referendum, which means that you don't have to rely on long-term trends in order to explain the defeat that they suffered. The second is, could you say a bit more about the current leadership election? Who would you be supporting and who would you call on other people to support? It's all right to say that Landy's the right candidate, Starmer's the candidate of MI5, and Long Bailey is the continuity candidate. And I think that's right. I think Long Bailey is a continuity candidate, which means that you're voting for failure again. I don't think it's probably correct to say she's very different from Corbyn. I think if Corbyn was to stand again, he'd be just as useless in defending himself on anti-Semitism as Long Bailey. So you really don't have much of a choice, but I'd like to know who do you think Socialists should be voting for? And allied to that is the third question is, what is the left project inside, or what are Socialist project inside the Labour Party now? Is there a single project? Is there a number of projects? Whenever I talked to you before, one thing that struck me was the surprise which a lot of the left in Britain seemed to have at the defeat. Whereas from where I was sitting, it was, you could see it coming. You know, if you were a boxer, you could have gone to your corner, taken a glass of water, walked over again, and still avoided the punch. But it seemed to come as a surprise. And the problem that I could see, maybe I'm wrong from a distance, was this loyalty to Corbyn, whenever Corbyn had long since deserved any sort of loyalty, and that the point was to build independent of him in order to prepare yourself for the defeat that he would inevitably help to inflict on the party. So it's really a question is, what is the project of Socialists now inside the Labour Party if it happened?
Okay, we'll answer those now. Liam? Is that all right, or do you want me to answer?
Ask somebody else because I'll need to finish this sweep.
I don't have any questions. Just some observations.
Go on.
From,
Don't let him make observations.
sorry, it's the Democratic Party.
I think we're going to let him make the observation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, I think I spent some time living in Britain, etc., and you can kind of understand on a gut level so many periods of defeat. The people who actually thought that Blairism represented this great progression. And I lived in Wales at the time, and I lived in Wales at the time, and it was a Tory. They said it was a Tory seat who was vanquished by Labour. You know, they lost the seat they had for a lot. Such was the surge, and I couldn't vote. I wouldn't go in and vote, even though I wanted Labour obviously to win. But on a gut level, I said, no, this is what Blair will do. This is not something that I'm excited about. Blair and that whole nature of the Labour Party, the reformist nature of it. It's not being argued, whatever. It's just how I seen it. So I couldn't make that step. I couldn't go in and vote Labour because that's just me being an awful sectarian, you know. Just some small points to make, which I think is interesting. The Scottish referendum, whether stays in or out Scotland, etc. Labour had a kind of a loose alliance with the Tories and other ones to vote for the referendum. Shocking. No differentiation whatever. And you look at Labour now in Scotland, and you can see how they've been punished, not just because of that, a whole history of corruption in the Labour Party, etc., but they've been punished, you know, in many ways for that. And they kind of done the same. It wasn't a unity programme as such, but there was, you know, the message was the same, Cameron, the whole, you know, stay. So there's all that there. So what I'm saying is, from word, if you just go back that period, from the word go, the get go, I recognise Brexit again on the gut level as something that had to be opposed. It's not that I'm a big fan of the European Union or the bureaucracy and all those things. On the gut level, this is a right-wing project, and you just had to oppose it. A lot of people on the left, sort of those stupid social media discussions, and some people were losing their marbles. You know, I'm not even talking about PVP, I'm talking about other people who were arguing this was a good thing to go to Europe. So, what is that about? And Labour had the same thing as well. And then they had, I'll not say too much more, but then they had the surge. And the surge was such that people starved. You know, a lot of people in London, other big urban centres, flocked to Labour. My two sons both lived in England at the time, both at universities, both joined Labour. You know, never, I mean, they talk about left wing, our house, stuff like that, but they never been a member of a party, and they joined it. I think one lasted about 7 months, the other one lasted about 5, because there's nothing for them to do. Just some meetings, there was just a big surge, and then there was nothing, so they just drifted away. I think the other ones who stayed in was like, well, something's bound to happen, we're bound to. And then Keir Starmer, I mean, like Keir Starmer, what I know about them, about 5, whatever, it's Sir Keir Starmer. You know, I always remind me when they say Keir, no, it's Sir Keir Starmer. It was really a bit of a wild back there. In 2009, he was a boy who decided not to prosecute the police over the shooting of Jean-Charles de Menzies in London. Horrendous murder of that individual. And he was the DPP at the time, not to prosecute him. So this is what we have. Not only is it the defeat of Corbyn, we have 3 appalling candidates. He's Dandy, appalling. Rebecca Long Bailey, appalling. And Starmer. So it's not just the scale of the defeat of Corbyn. In that period of that surge, we've had a massive defeat for Labour. I don't have any answers either, I just kind of watch it. But for me, the question is the Labour left still going to have a project of entrism? In other words, do they believe that the Labour Party can deliver socialism? Or independently, with strong critique, not talking about sectarian, strong critique, can a new independent party of the left be built in Britain? I mean, a big question, but there's things I'm interested in looking at it. But you know, it's a pretty grim scenario worldwide. It's same as here, but I'm always an optimist that things will change. But.
Okay.
Can I just add one?
Okay, and then Liam come back on those questions.
Just occurred to me as you were speaking. The only thing that's happened is that Boris has put in a hard-right government and seems to be preparing for hard Brexit. And he's put in a boy here who says there won't be a border down the Irish Sea. So the obvious question is where the effing border been? And scratch our head and work out on it. Well, the point I'm making is that doesn't seem to be part of the discussion. You know, people are focusing on which of these 3 stooges is going to be the leader of the Labour Party. But Boris is marching ahead there. You know.
I don't think it's plain sailing for Conservatives that the impact of Brexit will put Britain in a much weaker position internationally, and you see it already with this decision over Huawei. That apparently Trump was on the phone shouting down the ear of Boris Johnson needing to or something about the Australians are raising questions over the use of Huawei and Britain's telecommunications system. So Britain's going to be in a much bigger position. It's going to be pushed this way and that. So actually Brexit will actually diminish Britain as a nation and as a state. So this sort of revanches make Britain great again. That's just going to come to nothing really. Just on a few other things. You mentioned the regional differences between parts of Britain between the working class, but I remember reading stuff at the time like surveys and surveys of elections and studies of election results. It suggested that the regional differences between parts of Britain was overstated. That in most, say, the Labour Party supporters in most regions they supported in similar numbers in the referendum. So roughly 2/3 were against Brexit wherever they were, whether in the north of England, middle of England, south of England, London or Scotland. So I think this sort of emphasis on regions is, I think from what I've read, it seems to be exaggerated to some degree. I think it also encouraged that sort of emphasising the regional difference, also encouraged this sort of used as a justification by the leadership not to take a firm stance on Brexit, saying, well, we'll lose all these supporters here. But it's not clear that was true at all. That if they'd taken the same position across the board, the level of support would remain the same, that there wouldn't have been this fall off here or fall off there. And also, I think in 2017, the position of the Labour Party was seen as, it wasn't as polar. In 2017, things weren't as polarised around Brexit as they became later. So they get their social democratic sort of programme get a better hearing. But once things became more polarised as time progressed and a deal was in place and it was voted down, and Theresa May was unseated and there was a new deal in place, when things became so polarised, that sort of social democratic position, or that, they use the phrase the many, not the few, but in a polarised situation that doesn't work. It doesn't recognise the reality that sort of society had divided into two great camps, so it wasn't the many and the few. It was, Brexiteers, you can say there are many things, but they're not the few. There's a broad base of opinion there that are within society it's pro-Brexit, and it's basically always been the bedrock of conservatism. So that sort of persistent, that sort of framework was really wasn't gonna work 2 years later.
Liam.